have done nothing in the garden. So here I am starting from scratch. My asparagus, oddly, after like 5 years, did not come back this year. I don't know why. It usually, I don't know, usually just grows itself in the spring, but it did not. So I'm gonna pull that out. I'm gonna pull out these weeds. All right, here we go. Okay, I've got it mostly cleaned out. I'm gonna do tomatoes in the pots. They did pretty okay last year. So 3 tomato plants. I'm gonna do beans. I'm gonna do some sunflower seeds there. The portulacas, I think, there, and the hanging things, just for color and fun. I think I'm gonna do cucumber here, but maybe just like 1 or 2. I think that's the plan, but right now I'm gonna go inside and cool off. Also, I did see that 1 asparagus crown survived. I remembered, because as I was cleaning out here, I saw one. All of my asparagus got eaten, infested by asparagus beetles last year. So that's what happened. I had forgotten that until I saw one today. So I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to worry too much about the asparagus because I don't want those beetles here. Even though they only eat asparagus, they are disgusting. It was really gross last year. So anyway. Okay, now I'm heading in. We have robins right under where I am. And there's, I think, 1 of them. And there's another with grass to add. They're probably waiting for me to move. I was just assessing my veggie garden from above. You can see I cleaned it all out. That's what I did the other day. And I'm going to run to our little hardware store and buy plants this year. Sometimes I would do like a lot of seeds, but it's just been so cool. Even now it's 58. They're just not going to germinate. So I'm going to go buy some plants so I can just get them in. And I'm going to leave so the little robins can do their thing. All right, I'm here at the veggie section of the hardware store. I got myself a pepper plant. I only do 1 because they usually don't do well. Last year is the first year that I ever got peppers because it's usually not hot enough. The thing I did last year, I took off the first flowers, and maybe that's what made the difference. I don't know, so I'll try that again this year. And this is an heirloom variety of bean, pencil pod black wax. It is a bush bean. This is 3 different plants, so I could definitely like split them. So I might get 3 of these and then 1 other kind of bean if I can find it. Otherwise, maybe I'll just do all of these. Okay, I'm here in the garden and I want to get some of the plants planted that I picked up at the little garden center this morning. So the things I wound up choosing, here's my tomatoes. I got Better Boy, and this one says 75 days to harvest, so that's a little longer. Now remember, I'm in Minnesota, zone 4, the slightly warmer end of zone 4 because we're closer to the city. But it's pretty big, so I thought, well, I'll spend a little more and get a bigger plant. Maybe I'll get closer to getting tomatoes. I generally get tomatoes, it just depends on how many, depending on how our summer goes. And it's been very cool so far, so I don't know how it's gonna go. And then I did also get this one because I thought it was cool. Watermelon cherry. See how that looks like little watermelons? I thought that was really neat. And this one is 60 to 70, so that's a little quicker to harvest. And then I also got this one, which is called Independence Day. And it's another kind of like, I don't know if it's considered a cherry, but it, you know, there's lots of what it looks like smaller ones maybe. I don't really know actually. 3 to 4 ounce tomatoes. But it's called Independence Day because it's supposed to be average days to maturity is 49. So this is really quick. So in a normal climate, I think where you'd start growing in like March, then maybe you'd have some by Independence Day. I'm guessing that's why it's called that. Here, it'll probably be more like August, but yeah, I thought I'd give it a try because it is just quicker. Okay, so I am going to plant tomatoes this year in these pots. They did really well last year. It was fresh soil last year. I will probably just freshen it up a little with a little bit of soil that I have. I need to see what I have. I'm pretty much out of potting soil. I might have some garden soil. I don't know, I have to see. And so I'm gonna freshen it up, get them planted, and then I'll show them to you. I got the tomatoes in and I've staked them. I'm the only one in my family that eats tomatoes, and sometimes I wind up with too many. So we'll see how that goes. Next, I'm going to put those beans that I picked up in rows near the tomatoes. They have 3 plants apiece, so that's a way you can be economical in your garden. Sometimes the garden centers will plant 3 seeds in a pot because they have to make sure that something takes for them to sell. But then you don't have to plant them as 3. These are actually 3 plants from 3 seeds. So I'm going to split them up. I do still want to try to plant a row of sunflower seeds across the fence. I have them, and I think it's warm enough that I can do that now, so I'm not going to go too close to the fence with my beans. Thinking I do sunflowers here, I'll start the beans back here. And the hay is here just as a little mulch. Helps cut down on water needs, you know, to keep the water from evaporating. Okay, so we're gonna very carefully just split them. Can you see that? Yeah, okay. It's hard for me to see when I'm on the camera because the sun is so bright. But we're just gonna split them and give each one a bunch of roots, and that should be fine. So now we have 3 plants instead of 1. See a lot of nice dark topsoil here. So probably after this year, I will till it again for next year. And again, I'm just gonna break them apart real carefully. 1, 2, 3. And we'll stick one of our labels with our beans so we remember what they are. Okay, I also got a butternut squash and this Asian, it's Chinese long bean, and it says Asian made easy. They're supposed to produce really long beans, like 18 inches. These I just got because I thought they were interesting. So I'm gonna plant this right kind of down where the camera's, the foot of the tripod is. So I'll just show it to you when I'm done. I planted beans there last year and they did really well, but this is a different type, so maybe I'm still crop rotating, I don't really know. And then I didn't find any cucumbers, so I still need to look for those. But I have 4 stakes where I had my tomatoes last year, so I'm just going to put squash in there and hope that these will climb. So we'll do that and then I'll show it to you. Here are the long beans. I planted them here so I could stake them on the fence if they take. But look, I have a little lettuce volunteer I thought I'd show you. So cute. And I'm driving myself crazy because we're stripping the deck and I'm trying to be really careful about getting paint in the gardens, but inevitably it happens, so I'll have to pull that out. But I thought that was so cute. A little lettuce volunteer. I'm gonna let him grow. My camera battery died, but so I'm plugged in inside, but I'm gonna go out and plant these along the fence of the garden. And then once I have a little more charge, I'll show you what the whole thing looks like all planted. I'll go out and take care of that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, it's actually about 5 days later because it's just been chaotically busy and I haven't had time to film the finished product. That's where I put the pepper plant. This is the very sunny part of the garden. The rest of the garden sometimes gets a little, well, not sometimes, every day gets a little shade in the afternoon. This part does not. So I put the pepper plant there, so hopefully it gets lots of sun. And then the tomatoes obviously need a lot of sun. And then these, I actually decided, I did do portulaca. That's what these are. That's my mother's favorite flower. So I always plant some in her honor. But I also put 2 herbs. This is chamomile, and then this is chocolate mint. And I just thought it looked pretty hanging out of the pot. So hoping that'll, you know, I try not to plant mint in the ground because it will take over. And I had mint in here last year and it did well. The beans are looking good. So whenever you split plants like I did, you kind of mess with the roots, put them into a little bit of shock. So those first leaves that had popped up, you know, when you plant a seed, you have the first leaves that popped up. They're dying back on all the plants. You can see them. They're still here, but I've taken them off of most of the other ones because they were just shriveled. But all the bean plants are now putting up new leaves, which is great. So you can kind of see here, new leaves. So that's good. So the plants are becoming established. They're like, oh, okay, I don't need to be in shock. I can put up new leaves. So that's great. I'm really pleased with that, and that I got 6 plants instead of 2. The squash are also both looking good. So the first leaves are also dying back, but that's not a big deal. These are the leaves, and you can see they're putting up new leaves, so that's good. And then here's our other beans, which are also putting up new leaves. So everything looks to be happy. And then I did plant, let's see, along the fence here, I planted zinnias. Those seem to be popping, so that's cool. And then I think I also put some sunflowers, and I see one here. I don't see any others. Oh, that one has a little bug damage. So my sunflowers are popping. Oh, and these are doing better here, which is funny. See those? So lots of those popping up. Let's check our sunflowers on the other side. Okay, and this is a different variety of sunflower, and none of them are coming up, which is interesting because I planted them on the same day. So, either, well, I think I put both kinds. Maybe they're just not getting enough sun over here or something. That's kind of strange. Well, we'll see. We'll see if anything comes up, because they're definitely in here. But yeah, so nothing there yet, which is weird. Oh, wait. This might be something. That might be something, I can't tell. We'll give it a few more days and I'll keep you posted. One last thing I want to add in here, besides the clover, I did sprinkle the end of a packet I got at a bridal shower. We went to a bridal shower, which will probably be in a different vlog, and we got seed packets as a favor. And mine was, one of them was zinnias. Those are the zinnias I planted. Sorry, the dogs are barking. They see a neighbor. And the other one was called this old-fashioned mix. So it's this whole mix of different flowers. So I put some in one of my gardens, which I'll show you, and I put some here, and those are popping up. So my sunflowers over there might just be a dud pack. I have no idea what all the flowers are. It will be, you know, a little surprise, but I see little red shoots. That's interesting. So kind of cool. So those are definitely popping. That is the state of the veggie garden as it stands as of June 2nd. I am going to create some little DIYs to decorate. I always like to decorate my garden. So I'll be doing that in the next few weeks here. But until the next one, thanks for hanging with me as I planted my veggie garden. Bye.